I would be speaking to you all on the IPL, the clinical part of it, but most of it would be a little overlap with what Dr. Sharon spoke.
And
No
skip it.
financial yes, yes. So we all know, yeah, India is on the brink of a dry eye disease epidemic. This was the statistics in North India that was carried out, and the conclusion was the prevalence of dry eye disease is as high as 32%. And what is more shocking, it's not the usual older age groups, which complain and which are finally ending up with dry eye. You could see that here the age group is 21 to 40 years, which is shocking. So most of it is also due to digital technology, contact lens use, smoking, and so on. So the typical patient, as we see walking into our clinic, since I'll be speaking to you on clinical part, is usual perimenopausal female having a thyroid probably or a diabetic, and they are not the usual low income groups. They are very good higher income groups, and they keep going from doctor to doctor, and they have multiple opinions, and they are not really happy with what they are getting treated for. Each of them is probably handed out certain artificial tears, and the brand keeps changing, but what they have is a real problem. It's not just a nuisance, and they need what is real treatment can give them. Now the various challenges that we as clinicians face is not just the patient who walks into your clinic as for dry eye, but also others like cataract patients, glaucoma patients, and patients who are having a lot of computer use, and all this increases the amount of dry eye. Now, all our refractive surgery patients, I would feel definitely all of you all would agree that it's not just the cataract patients, but in refractive surgery today, we have to look at the ocular surface very, very carefully. Otherwise, these patients can be very unhappy, and recovery can be really delayed. Now, especially all our premium multifocal patients, definitely that's a very, very common cause of dissatisfied multifocal IOL if the ocular surface is not looked into. Now, we would be speaking to you specifically about the meibomian gland dysfunction, where the main pathophysiology is hyperkeratinization of the meibomian ductal system, increased viscosity of the meibum, and obstruction of the orifices. So what happens is, because of the obstruction, you can see the central duct gets dilated. There is acinar atrophy, so there is basically the gland dropout. Now, all this clinically, as you see it, when you do a meibography, you can see multiple grades of the meibomian gland dropout. So you could have as high as up to, they are graded according to whether it's up to 25, 50 or 75%. There could be shortening of the glands and gland loss also. And definitely all of us know clinically how you would look at MGD, and all these would be the clinical signs. Now the main problem here is there is a big divide between the signs and the symptoms. So you may have patients coming to you without anything, and then you find out that they have so many of their signs, and you do a T-BUT, it's so low, and then you tell them, do you have this, do you have that? Then they say, no, I'm quite comfortable. At the same time, you have the other extreme of patients. So you have a lot of literature which also shows that most patients with MGD are asymptomatic. So when you are going ahead with, say, a cataract surgery or refractive surgery specifically, then these patients need to be looked into. Now what we do in our clinic is for a basic workup, we do a Shermer's test, T-BUT, OSDI score, meibography, and now when you go on to treat them, it's not just the medical management, but we need something more. We all know there are a lot of treatments available. I would not go into the details of this. Dr. Pooja has already, Dr. Sharon has spoken. So you have the direct treatment where you give actually the, can you just put it on? The charger, yeah. So we also have seen how it works. So I would not go into the details of that. Now the indirect treatment, again, you have one good thing is there is no local anesthetic required, no gel required. This part of the treatment, the IPL or the OPE, just takes 2 to 5 minutes, and even the mask takes just around 10 to 15 minutes. The patients are quite comfortable, so clinically definitely they have a very good feedback to us, no gel required also. And this is all the molecular, how she has already explained. So the number of sittings, usually they have recommended around 3. I usually start with 1 and then recommend only, I call the patient back after 1 week and 1 month and then 3 months, and then see how they feel and only repeat if required. Side effects, we have hardly found any, except few of them have had a little redness or a tenderness, and one of or two of them had a little kind of burns kind of thing, but it all depends on the pigmentation grade. So you have to be careful. Greater the amount of pigmentation, there could be higher side effects. Yes, it's much more cost effective than some others. These are the various contraindications. Yes, a lot of literature has shown that the outcomes are very, very good and effective. These were the other thing, and all of these studies have shown that there not only increase in the betterment of the OSDI scores, but also the signs have improved. So the meibum secretion has thinned out, and there is opening up of the glands. Now here, these are the other literature that has been seen, and the expressibility. So what we also do is continue with the warm compresses and the lid hygiene and the lid massage. So it's not that you stop everything else, even the topical treatment is also continued. So this is our own experience. We have done around 500 eyes. Now here, after the first sitting, as I said, I've called the patient back after 1 week just for my satisfaction to see how they are doing. And we were really surprised to see almost 80% of them showed improvement, and almost 54% of them showed more than 50% improvement. This was symptomatically. Obviously, we would not expect anything else to change in the just 1 week. Now, after 1 month, again, we found that there was very good improvement. Approximately around 20 to 30% maybe did not show too much of symptomatic change. Now, what was important is also this. Now, at the end of around 3 months, we found when we repeated the mybography and the T-BUT, you could see that there were patients where the T-BUT improved. Mybography, it was difficult. Like, in fact, we had a discussion, right, with Rohit Shetty said it's probably the edema also that is reduced. So it might show a improved mybography. But yes, there were a few changes, but I think long-term studies are required to see whether there is a meibomian gland reversibility of the dropout. So there were patients where there was improvement in one eye but not in the other eye, and patients where there was no improvement at all. Now, but symptomatically there was improvement but not in the signs. So there is a divide between the two. There were other results also. I would not go into the details, but here they have had almost up to 4 treatments. But when I have been doing, I have done up to 1 to maximum of 3 treatments. So there are some patients where it had not worked with LipiFlow and has worked with this. So probably it's better. Now regarding the meibomian gland reversibility, what they have found is there could be some stem cells in the ductal epithelium which probably enter the acini, and that is causing the reversal of the meibomian glands. This was the okay. So to conclude, sir, it is basically it has very good efficacy results. Patient comfort is much higher and definitely economical. So it's a new technology maybe all of us should think about. Thank you so much.
Before we sum up, any questions to Dr. Anagha? I think any tips on counseling? Just a quick one, because how do you, in a busy practice of what you have, how do you counsel 500 odd patients to go in for this?
So what I speak to them is when they have some kind of symptom, which would definitely be because of dry eye, and we have already tried lubricants and topical therapy, and definitely we know that they are not happy with it. So we tell them that this is not going to stop only with topical treatment, so you need something more. And for that, you need to go in for this treatment, and this would definitely help in improving your symptoms and reducing your problems. Especially, we have had some multifocal IOL patients. In all these patients, we do a dry eye workup, and then if we find that it's really poor, the OSDI is affected and the T-BUT is affected, meibomian gland dropout is quite a bit, and we tell them that there could be a indication where you might have to give dry eye treatment either now or post-operatively. So these patients, when they come back to you with some kind of symptoms, they are already aware that they have some kind of problem. So same thing even for the refractive patient.
Vote of thanks, you want to say? Dr. Shehnaz will do the vote of thanks.